Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to episode number 10 of the Gary and Harry Show. Shout out to the M. Alex Broadcasting Company and Power 108.9. We got number 10 in the building.
Number 10 in the building for the win, y'all. Welcome in, welcome in. Thank y'all for joining us. Episode number 10. How you feeling, man?
Feeling great. We got EPRyanBeasley.com back in the building. RyanBeasley.com for most of your smell good needs.
That's
Check
right.
out RyanBeasley.com. Use that promo code GHS10 for most of your smell good needs. RyanBeasley.com.
Absolutely. Appreciate you having us back in. M. Alex Broadcasting at Power 108. I love it. Back to it. Get it off my chest how we always kick it off, man. What you got for me? I know you got something. It's been a crazy week.
Yeah, this one might not be sports related. Obviously, we know what happened to Purdue yesterday. For the second time in NCAA history. A number one seed went down. This one's more so personal for me. It's been a rough couple of years, as some of you know. You obviously know very well, Gary.
Absolutely.
Ryan knows as well. I was in the ICU in Kennestone for 8 days back in 2020. Went through a lot of rough stuff, and I paid off my final hospital bill yesterday.
Amazing.
So that's a nice little milestone. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Second chance at life, so that's why we're doing this.
Absolutely.
Trying to take advantage of every opportunity every day, and most importantly, spend it all.
Spend the check.
Spend it all.
Spend the check. That's the theme for today, man.
Falcons got a new motto for the offseason for sure.
Gotta have it. We haven't had that in a while.
Get it off your chest. What you got, sir?
So we'll get to the Falcons. I'm ecstatic about that. But for me, NBA is coming to the end of the season. I don't see any other person winning the MVP award. I feel like he should have won it last year. Joel Embiid for MVP. And I feel like they're going to try to give Jokic a three-peat because of the record, but they tailed off. Who else would you say? If you had to pick right now today, who's your MVP of the NBA?
I would like to see Embiid get it, and we were talking about it when Brandon was on the show a couple shows ago. But it's so hard to justify a three-peat. At the same time, everyone hopefully is treating this season independently, but at the same time, you do have probably some of those voters in the back of their mind that are like, it should have went to Embiid last year. Let's try and get it to him this year, kind of thing. As far as somebody else in the running, probably not. At this point, though, it should probably go to Embiid.
Because literally, if you look around the league, even at any point, like right now, Giannis has been injury prone, not injury prone, but he's missed some games. In the West, with Ja going out for his personal reasons, he was about the closest thing to MVP besides Jokic in the West. And so then you flip to the East. After you talk Giannis, I mean, when it comes to Boston, Tatum has not been MVP. You see that blown layup he had the other night to win the game?
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it has to go to Embiid.
I think we all wanted to go to Embiid. There's a lot of, I don't want to say vote stealing going on, but even if you just look at the standings, it's like, how is Sacramento second in the West?
De'Aaron Fox.
Right. But he's not going to get the MVP love because it's him and Sabonis and other people. So it's just, I think it's time for Embiid.
It has to be. And then if you look at what he's done since January 1st, 33 points a game. Come on, man. Just on top of that, with 12 rebounds, I think it was insane for what he's done since. Now, he and Joker's numbers are almost identical because the records are pretty much almost the same too when you look at it from January 1st. But he's been way more impactful this year, even with Harden having for the whole season. It's got to be him in my mind.
I think we both hope it ends up being.
Yeah.
But what do we still got, about 15 games left?
Something about
Dirty dozen,
right?
Something about that.
Right.
Basically, the final 3-week push, the stretch, is going to be fun. But we had our picks last time. I said it was coming out of the West. I think Brandon picked Boston. You said it was coming out of the West as well.
Yeah, I went Denver because I said if it doesn't happen this year, they're gonna blow the team up. So, and they're healthy. So.
And you can see that because I don't think Jokic has got his extension yet. So yeah, it's possible.
So that's how I feel about that.
For sure.
I did. So let's move it on along. Do another shout out. We got somebody coming up for a shout out real quick before we move to the NFL segment.
Next up, special shout out to Digestive Healthcare of Georgia. Did you know of all cancers that affect both women and men, colorectal cancer is the second leading cancer killer in the United States? But it doesn't have to be. Colorectal cancer screening saves lives. Feel free to check out Digestive Healthcare of Georgia.
All right, that's a good shot at Digestive Health. Go get yourself screened, guys. All right, so let's move on to the NFL segment, the most exciting thing that I feel like besides March Madness right now. Free agency frenzy has been insane, man. We're going to go ahead and take it to the Falcons because they've been spending the check. Spend it. Spend the money, man. And they've been spending that check. How you feel about it?
Good. It's kind of played out the way we expected. The Jesse Bates signing was huge.
Yes. All pro safety.
Kudos to Fontenot, I guess, for bringing back Caleb McGarry on like a real team-friendly deal.
Very team-friendly.
I still think y'all end up drafting somebody.
It could be. I don't know about in the first round, but it absolutely could be.
Yeah, sooner than later. Need to find that second for Drake London and Kyle Pitts. Let's hope, obviously, Kyle Pitts can stay on the field. Bringing in Taylor Heineke to, let's be honest, compete with Ritter, even though they're saying it's Ritter's job.
Right. Hometown kid, Lawrenceville.
Yeah, I think he'll do well to kind of
baller, man. He might not have all the talent in the world, but he's a baller. He's scrappy.
In this offense, though, I think he's got all the opportunity in the world.
Yeah,
I fully expect him to beat out Desmond Ritter for the job, with that senior veteran and leadership kind of thing.
Right.
But let's not deny that this is a run heavy first offense.
Absolutely.
So feeding the rock to Tyler Algier, Cordero's coming back.
Should be healthy.
It should be a run first offensive oriented team.
We ended we were third or fourth in the league in rushing at the end of the season last year.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And consistently throughout the year had those type of numbers. So the running game is there for you to do, and that's why they brought back McGarry, because that gel between him and Lindstrom, if they run to the right side, they were pretty much getting 5 a pop. Top of that,
picking up every other Saint player, it seems like.
So that's what I was going to next, the defense. That we already have the defensive coordinator that came from the New Orleans organization, of course. But on the flip side of that, we have Omada, defensive tackle, who's going to help push the pocket. He had more sacks than people on our team last year. My philosophy at this point, if you had 5+ sacks, you had more than anybody on our team. We had nobody over 5 sacks last year as a single player. And that's not even a detriment to Grady Jarrett. As great as he is, you need some help out there, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he should help push the pocket beside Grady. Give Grady the opportunity to move around the Aaron Donald type fast. You can hit that end sometime, or he can drop in the inside and be on the interior as a D tackle.
Yep.
Watch out for Caden Ellis, man. Watch out for Caden Ellis, the linebacker we picked up from the Saints. I saw some film on him, but in 11 games, he had almost 90 tackles and 7 sacks.
No, he's good. He's put together a decent body of work when he is healthy. It seems like every other play I was watching him make a tackle for the Saints, basically. It was either him or
DeMario.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Mario Davis.
Dario Davis, yep.
Their other linebacker, who is a perennial Pro Bowler. But say his name for me one more time.
Omada. The first name gets me, so I just say Omada.
Next to Grady, should be legit.
Yep.
At the same time, re-signed Lorenzo Carter.
Yes.
So, the pieces are still there, starting to fill out. Not done. I don't think they're done yet.
No, I don't think they are either. I think you invest in another pass rusher from somewhere. I believe at this point in the draft now, I feel like they got to go pass rusher now because they're filling all the other needs. I feel like if what's happening with Jalen Carter, if he drops to us at 8, man, you got to take that, right? And I feel like you got to take that, or in my mind, if he drops to 8 for what the issues off the field, and then showing up to the pro day
heavy,
9 pounds heavy, and didn't really do well in the drills or the ones that he did do,
gassing out.
Yeah, I think he's had a rough little stretch, so maybe maybe that. But if you're scared about him being a worker, and I think you pass on him if he's dropping like that. But he's a talent, man. Dude, huge talent, big guy. It could be a game changer. So other than that, I go second round. I'm going wide receiver. Just
even if you pick up a free agent on like a 1-year deal, because there's plenty of receivers out there.
Yeah, but if you got some legit number 2s out there, is the case. Now, unless you're talking about making a splash with somebody, that's not really many splash players left at the receiver position left in the market, as far as I know.
Can I give you a recommendation?
Sure.
You can get him bring in Adam Thielen on a team-friendly deal as
your
number 2.
Thielen could work as a 2.
Right.
I don't think he's lost a step. Man, he slowed down a tad, and he wasn't a blazer to begin with, but he's an excellent route runner. He's got great hands. So if they were to find a way to bring in Thielen, that would be perfect.
real talk, if you can keep Kyle Pitts healthy, I would say that Drake London be the 1, Pitts be the 2, and if Thielen's your 3.
That's good. That's like that.
Not bad.
And if you can, like if you do decide in the second round, maybe we need somebody to take the top off. I feel so. Maybe like a Flowers from Boston College or somebody like that. You know what I mean? Just somebody to back the safeties up in certain situations, just in case.
Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah.
Tennessee.
I had people telling me that he's a one trick pony, just a streak running down the field guy, and a product of the speed that offense went with. So I mean, if he can polish up his route running,
Kadarius Toney.
Yes, but I take Flowers in that role from Boston College. I like the way he moves out there.
You think he slides to the second?
I think so, because you got Johnston and Addison that'll be in the first round for sure.
Yep.
I think it's too many other possible perennial players that he might drop to the beginning of the second round, maybe.
Yeah, if you can grab him in the second, that'd be
amazing.
Hell of a pickup.
Right? So yeah, that's how I'm feeling about it now. Let's go to your Dolphins, my man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we spoke about it last time since the trade probably got finalized after the last show.
It hadn't happened yet.
But Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah, man. Yes, sir. Congratulations. Some people think he's washed. I think he will be better in your in your defense with the man-to-man coverage situation because he's not going to play as much off-man as he was in L.A. Just how'd you feel when it went down? We teased it when Brandon was on the show a couple shows ago.
Yeah, he offered me a second-round pick, and I was shaking his hand like he was the general manager. And then we got away with a practice squad tight end in Hunter Long. Thanks for your service, big guy. And a third-round pick for Jalen Ramsey.
Blew my mind.
To not only restructure his contract as soon as he came to the Dolphins, but gave him guaranteed money. And similar to it's been playing out kind of the way that I was hoping with Tyreek getting restructured, accelerating it into a bonus, creating more cap room. They kind of did the same for Jalen Ramsey, guaranteed the next 2 years. So we basically have him as a 28, 29-year-old, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
X is, a perennial Pro Bowler. He had a down year last year, but
even for him, it was still a decent year.
He's still a dog for us. We love him. Javon Holland from Oregon. He's an upcoming superstar at safety. To be honest, this reminds me of if you go back to the old school Dolphins secondary of like the kind of early mid 2000s.
Right.
Sam Madison, Patrick Surtain, Sammy Knight, and Brock Marion.
Oh, man. I used to like playing with them on Madden.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Like, that was a healthy and lethal secondary.
It was.
So
I
now
was hitting hard out there, too.
So now we got like a, 28-year-old Jalen Ramsey, 29-year-old X, 23 or 24-year-old Javon Holland, and if Brandon Jones can come off of his ACL surgery at 24, like we're
secondaries
looking,
in business, and then your front four will be healthy.
We're trying to build it back out, but at this point, it's literally all in, and we'll do whatever we can to protect Tua.
Yep, I feel like y'all going O-line at this point in the draft.
I would hope nothing but, to be honest,
just to prove the point. Like we're trying to shore this thing up, keep him healthy, because as you saw, if you can,
we're doing it for him, all in for him.
Stay healthy, we can make some noise, right? At the end of the day, this has been fun, man. The Cowboys trading for Stephon Gilmore, that's a big piece. It's just all kind of stuff that went on that makes you be like, okay, we getting there. Orlando Brown going to the Bengals, and then automatically making Jonah Williams request a trade because of that. I thought they would have stayed, but he requested a trade as soon as they signed Orlando Brown.
Yeah, he was a first-round pick a couple years ago, and I think he might be on like his fifth-year option at this point. But with Lyle Collins on the right side and now Orlando on the left, it does make you expendable, which is not a bad thing, but I don't think you're going to get much in return for him.
No.
Stephon Diggs unfollowing the Buffalo Bills.
Why, though?
He's mad.
About what?
He was mad during the playoff game. He was basically taking the stuff off, throwing it off like, you didn't get me the ball, you didn't even look my way kind of thing.
But you've been an all-pro every year since you've been there.
I just like the mind games because now, regardless of Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets, whenever that does get finalized, I feel like that puts the Dolphins in the driver's seat, to be honest.
In the division, I get that. Dissension in the ranks, little anger. I mean, they'll kiss and make up by the time the season starts, I think. Now, clearing your Bill stuff off your Instagram, that's usually a statement by players when they do that kind of stuff to say that, yes, I'm pissed. But
it takes time, too, though.
It does.
You got to go through and clear everything out.
You've been there for some years now. It's not like you only been there a year.
Like, let me get remove my ex and make sure that there's no past.
Exactly. It's a weird situation. But with Stephon Diggs, that's an interesting situation. On top of that, with Lamar Jackson now, we see that everybody's hands are off at this point. 3 years, $133 million was offered, according to Lamar, out of his own mouth. That's $44 million a year.
Okay.
And when you're a free agent after those 3 years, you'll be 29 years old. Why would you not take that?
I don't know.
It's fully guaranteed as well.
Yeah, I don't know mentally what he's going through. He's obviously looking for more security, I guess.
But I'm saying, if it's fully guaranteed for 3 and you're a free agent at 29, I was on the side for most of this. I can't be on your side with that one, dog. That's good money. And by the time you're a free agent at 29, you can do whatever you want.
That's what Brian Jordan quoted on the last show as well, that even if he got the 1-year franchise tag, he was going to be making about $45 million.
Right.
So it's on par. Like, it all adds up and lines up. But at the end of the day, is Baltimore where he wants to play?
At this point, I think you're just mad at him. Is it because is that why you're playing hardball? Because they took so long?
I mean, they've been taking almost 2 years.
Exactly.
While trying to work out the contract,
Because when people say you should have locked him up after you won the MVP, but at this point, to turn down the $43 a year, even if you wanted 5 or 6 years, 3 years for $133 is not bad if you're talking fully guaranteed money. Now, like you say, it's got to come down to, do I want to be here?
Yeah, I don't think he does, to be honest. I think he's going to be leaving Baltimore, even if he gets franchise tagged for the year and eventually work out a trade or something like that. But I think he does end up leaving.
Right. It's going to be weird to see him in another uniform at that point, because the only other thing I wanted to see him in was black and red, and I don't think it'll happen at this point because we're spending the money elsewhere now. I don't know whether we'll revisit that in a later point. But now with Rodgers at the Jets, us having our hands off as the Falcons, who exactly would it make sense for and who has the money to pay him?
Yeah, I think we would like to see him here in Atlanta. We've been trying to speak his name into existence.
Absolutely.
And, make it happen. It seems like any other person's name that we happen to talk about on the show, something happens to him in the sporting world the next day. We were referencing Jonnu Smith for the Patriots, and then all of a sudden he gets, flipped the next day for a 7th-round pick.
Yep.
A
lot better offense for him, too, by the way. We forgot to mention him with the Falcons. That's a lot better. I feel like scheme-wise for him, he underachieved that contract that he got from the Patriots.
Definitely underachieved because he probably wasn't being utilized correctly. But at the same time, he was drafted by Tennessee at a FIU.
Yes.
He played for Arthur Smith in Tennessee.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly why he's here.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think for a 7th-round pick, that's a steal.
Absolutely. Whether you think he's got it still or not, absolutely. 7th-round pick, I was not mad at that.
Who is – I honestly don't know. I'm just asking. Who's the last athlete to hold out? Can you see envision Lamar Jackson holding out?
Yes, but if I don't want to be here, is that why I'm holding out, or is it because of the money? I think the last one to hold out was Zeke a couple years ago, I think.
Was it? Something like that?
I think so.
Trying to get his next contract?
Yeah, the Cabo.
And he's now released. Free agent.
And they saved $10 million by cutting him too. He's short distance in a goal line now. They tread on the tires is getting low for him.
I get why people say that, but he was so productive throughout his Dallas career, and just I don't know. I feel like there's something a little bit left. Maybe he could probably be somebody's backup at the end of the day, but I don't know. I for some reason think like Lamar Jackson, it's about the money because it's not enough money.
Right.
But I think ultimately I don't want to be in Baltimore anymore.
Yeah. And that has a lot to do with it. If you're not happy where you're working, you're not going to be focused, you're not going to want to stay. It's unfortunate.
Let's be honest, it is a job at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
But if you have an opportunity to influence where you could possibly be heading as far as be holding out or trying to work a trade, I'm not going to say go down the Aaron Rodgers route, but you do have an opportunity to go play for another team.
Absolutely. Garoppolo to the Raiders. How you feel about that?
Makes sense because of McDaniels, the connection back to the Patriots.
Yep.
I feel like we were talking about that on previous shows, and it's like, don't be surprised if, but that was, again, only, they give him a 2-year deal?
Yes, I believe so.
Something like that. Insurance-y,
It was
bridge
they
gap.
got a steal out of him. It was only for 60-something mil. I think it might have been 3 years for like 64 mil or something like that. They was cheap.
About 20 a year.
Yeah,
right?
it was, yeah.
Little bridge gap, mentor policy.
And he can take you there with the weapons.
He could. You can also see them drafting a quarterback, but probably not in the first round now.
Right.
Probably addressing some other issues that they might have, whether it's
Defense.
probably defense.
Secondary.
Yeah. Especially from all those Mike Mayock drafts in years past, where it's just like,
is he even working now?
Yeah, he's back, probably just sitting in the stands at the combine.
Yeah, because he hasn't been on the air because he don't work for NFL Network anymore. At least not on contract.
Yeah, you probably want to hide your face for a little while.
Yeah, man.
You drafted all these clowns.
And then people like Cleveland Farrell, who just signed a deal with San Fran. He's gonna be a rotation guy, but he was a first round pick, a Mayock pick. It's like,
how does San Fran still have money?
I don't know.
Because they picked up Javon Hargrave from
They
Philly.
gave him a big deal. I don't know how much they gave Cleveland Farrell, but they gave him money.
I'm sure Farrell's deal was just minimal, but it's just like, how do they still have money?
That's it. I don't know. They find a way to do it every time, just like the Rams when they were doing their little thing. They found a way to do it. And then they're not in cap hell. I don't understand. It's weird. So also on top of that, you lost your tight end, man.
Yeah, I'm not mad.
Not mad?
No, we gave him an opportunity. We're like, you can go explore free agency, and that was the best deal that he came up with. I do feel bad for him now because that same defense that he would practice against every day is who he's going to have to go against twice during the regular season since he's signed with the Patriots.
The Patriots?
Maybe people get motivated in weird ways. Yeah. It's like, I played for this team for so long. Now you're my division rival. I'm going to try and prove you wrong kind of thing. But as much as I always thought he was that guy, he's not that guy.
I feel like he got phased out a little bit too once Tyree got there, a lot of those targets. But I mean, at the same time, if you're not getting open and getting it done, you're not getting open.
He definitely disappeared, but I mean, you can look at his numbers. His career best year was like 60 catches, about 600 yards, and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, He had 2 seasons where he was pretty decent, especially in fantasy. He was doing all right for
those numbers though,
right?
And like that's about it. So you're averaging 50 yards a game, a touchdown every 3 games.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough.
You know,
in a league where you got some baller tight ends, you at the bottom of the barrel with that. Speaking of baller tight ends, Darren Waller to the Giants.
I don't understand it. And it was like minutes after Garoppolo.
Yeah,
I don't understand that one. If you're going down that route, then you might as well blow it up. Might as well see if you can flip Josh Jacobs for something.
But they just gave him the tag, so they're not committed to Josh Jacobs at this point.
I don't understand that one. And then Devontae Adams was throwing a hissy fit when they announced the Garoppolo signing, and then he kind of walked it back, being like, "No, that was misinterpreted or whatever." But
right,
yeah, something's going on there, and if anyone's to blame, I'm going to blame McDaniels.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to, or Davis, just because his dad's probably looking like, dude, you doing a lot of weird stuff. But hey.
Besides his haircut. Yeah.
But yeah, is that a haircut or is that a toupee?
Probably a little bit of both, but inspired by like
much cutting going
Chucky
on with that
or something. I don't know.
It's weird.
Yeah,
he need to do something about that. Just wear a hat or something, dude. Mike Davis, just do something. Wear a hat or something.
Yeah, Google the Raiders owner if you get a chance, and tell me he looks like a normal human being.
No, normal is the farthest thing from it. Now, another quick question about this free agency period that we have going on.
I love the name, by the way. What? The legal tampering period.
Ah, yes.
That just makes me feel a little uncomfortable. But
hey, we're gonna hit it real quick. No, we're not. I don't even really want to go Aaron Rodgers. It's done. He should be over there. He's got him getting Lazard and all this other stuff. Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, okay, he's a Jet. We'll move on. Quick question: have you watched any of the XFL games?
I have not, to be honest. Literally, the only thing that I saw was who's Alabama's former quarterback. He was crying on the sidelines that he was doing it for his kids.
AJ McCarron.
I think that's who it was.
Yep. I flipped over and saw him quarterback on one of the teams.
Yeah, literally just crying on the sidelines, doing it for his kids, and good for him because he was coming off of a pretty devastating knee injury when he was playing in the NFL. Right. But no, legitimately, I have not watched a second of it.
I flipped by and watched half of a quarter here and there. It's pretty cool as far as interaction wise because they the coaches are mic'd up. You can hear the plays being called. Like it's pretty interactive as far as that goes. A new way to look at it. But
I think what I did see was the entire process of the replay is under watch.
Yes.
Like you can hear people talking about
Yes.
what the replay official is looking
Yes.
for.
Yes.
That I thought was actually pretty cool.
It is, and one of the dudes who used to do the officiating in the booth for like Monday Night Football and that kind of stuff, he's the head of officiating for them.
Good.
And so he basically pops on it immediately, and they give the camera to him, and he's looking and talking to the ref at the same time. You can see it, so yeah, it is pretty cool. But overall, The Rock is the head of the XFL situation. He's done a good job, actually.
Yeah.
I think they've done a good job with the promotion of it at this time, and ESPN picking it up helps them out a lot.
For sure.
And you know, The Rock is The Rock. Dwayne, he has a lot of money behind it at this point, so I think they're gonna be all right.
Yeah, him and Danny Garcia.
Yes.
I think they're the co-owners of the XFL. Decent job resurrecting it, but again, it's just the first year, so you can imagine what they're going to do next year.
Right. On top of that, switching back to NFL, on top of we were going with the Raiders, we're talking about the Raiders. I just thought about something. They traded Darren Waller right after they got Jacoby Myers, and getting Jacoby Myers seemed like it would have been a situation of, oh, we got literally everything we need at this point. And now you trade Waller to have Moreau back there at the tight end, Fabian Moreau, is that him? It just seemed really weird. It just popped in my mind about Jacoby Myers over there too. It just was a whole weird situation.
Yeah, so you had an opportunity when healthy on paper with Garoppolo at quarterback, Jacobs at running back, sign Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfrow, Devontae Adams, and Darren Waller. And now, like, basically just a couple days later, you're looking at no Darren Waller being replaced by Foster Monroe, whatever his name is. Who knows what's going to happen to Hunter Renfrow? We're assuming Devontae Adams is still going to be on the team, even though he's been crying about Jimmy Garoppolo, behind the scenes at least. And then they, like you said, they tagged Jacob, so that's possible movement still there as well.
Yeah, and so that just popped back in my mind now. Looking at the draft, and before we get to the midway point here, looking at the draft, it's coming up quick. Are you going to be tuned in, glued in? Because usually when that happens, it's Brave season, and we're in the midst of baseball situations. But I feel like this year is something about it. This year, I don't know if I'm much more excited this year because we've had money and we can fill more holes.
Sure.
But I feel like this draft has some players in it, man.
Yeah, like every year as we get older, you obviously learn more and more about who's in the league.
Right.
So it seems like the draft class gets deeper and deeper.
Right.
But more so just from a knowledge standpoint. It's like we've been watching these guys for years.
Yeah.
As much as I would love to be tuned into the first round, Dolphins don't have a first round pick.
Right.
Hence the tampering word makes me feel some type of way.
Yes,
But at the end of the
exactly.
day, I'll probably have it on somewhere.
Yeah.
If there is a Braves game that day, you know what I'm going to be working on and doing. But ultimately, I'll follow the ticker, the bottom line, just to be like, so-and-so fell to whoever.
Yep.
But no, there's plenty of depth, even from a tight end standpoint. Like for the Dolphins, we can easily pick up a tight end in the second, maybe the fourth, something like that. There's plenty of options out there. But all in all, it's a entirely deep class. I think it's very defensive heavy.
Right.
But you can, whatever you need, you can grab a receiver in the second and third. You can get O-line help. You can get everything in between.
Yep. It's looking pretty good. We have a quick shout out before we go to break.
Time to plug.
Yeah, real quick.
So you'll notice the cup that Gary's holding up. Not only does it have his name on it, it is a beautiful custom tumbler from My Karma Creations, which specializes in handmade custom tumblers. Small orders, large orders, business or personal usage. It's a female-owned company. Give your beverages their own personality with a unique design, several sizes available. Shipping is available as well. The gift you can't walk into any store and find. My Karma Creations with a K.com.
See you when we get back. they bring in people that from back in the day.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we're back for the second half of episode number 10 for the Gary and Harry Show.
Welcome back. Number 10 for the win. We're going to start this thing off with Your Baby. We're going to come in with Highly Recommend.
Yeah.
And what you got for me?
We missed it last week. We were just busy. Shout out to Brian Jordan once again for joining us on the show last week. For Michael McFadden for always making us look good and sound good.
Absolutely.
But for the Highly Recommend segment, I'm a little bit of a stand-up comedy guy.
Yep.
My humor might be dry for some people, but I highly recommend, if you haven't seen it, Chris Rock's stand-up.
Right.
As well as what just dropped on Netflix, Bert Kreischer's new stand-up as well.
Okay. I've heard good things about the Chris Rock stand-up, and
I loved it.
As a stand-up guy, not stand-up guy, and a stand-up comedian follower, I really want to check it out. I have it on my list. I've heard good things about it. I've heard the controversy,
He's
the
got
edgy.
a couple good subtle shots.
Yeah, man. I got to see that for myself. I might catch it probably.
Highly recommend.
Yeah, man. Highly recommend. And Bert Kreischer.
Bert Kreischer. Florida State guy.
Right.
Everyone knows him as like Bert the Machine.
Right. I've heard that.
Secret Time, Story Time, all of his other stand-ups and stuff. He's been gone for a while. Him and Tom Segura have a Two Bears, One Cave podcast.
I like Tom.
It's a little dirty, a little raunchy.
Of course.
But if you like watching somebody make fun of their kids, feel free to check that out.
That's a good one. Okay, cool. Now on my end, the Menu people, you've seen The Menu.
Yeah, big fan.
I'm a big fan of that movie, man. I watched it a couple of times just because after the first time I was like, wait a minute, I have to go back and see it. Just to give a quick breakdown for the people out there, if you haven't seen it, it's like you go on a private island to have dinner with the best chef, one of the best chefs in the world. And you get there and everything's set up for you. You have to put your name in early and who you're bringing and all that kind of stuff so they can set up everything for you. And when you get there, usually it's okay. You go, fly there, have your meal, and you fly back home. But this time it was a little bit different.
This 10-course meal starts to go off the rails.
Off the rails, man. Things you would not expect. And it's pretty good.
What a good teaser.
It was pretty good, man. If you haven't seen The Menu, check it out. If you're a fan of cooking shows and things like that, it has those kind of blends in it for you to see what's going on. But I highly recommend.
I also want to give you your flowers, I guess. You recommended Next Level Chef.
Yes.
I just started to get into that, and I've already blown through the first season. I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I needed.
It's intense,
especially after MasterChef. That's exactly what I needed.
I'm saying that's what I mean. So, because I watched that the last episode on Thursday. It's really good. The second season is really good, man.
Next Level?
Yeah,
it's just starting to take off for me.
And so, because I record them every week, so
good.
I'm to the point now to where as soon as it's done recording on a Thursday, I'm right there with it. Ready to jump in. I love it.
We got a special guest here in the studio.
We do.
Should we give her a little camera time? Do you want to say what's up to the people?
Yes. Come on over. Come say hey. Come right here and look at that camera right there and wave. Come on, right here. Come on. Look right there. Just look. Just wave right there. They can see you.
Hey, America.
Hey. There you go. Good to go now. You want to
Thanks, Reagan. We appreciate you.
All right. So moving on to the next one, people that are other fans of other podcasts, Drink Champs, man, with Nori and DJ EFN. I love that podcast, man. It's really cool. They bring a lot of old school hip hop artists, R&B artists. Their whole thing is to give people flowers and just to hear the stories from certain people. Like they had Ron Isley from the Isley Brothers on, and he gave a wild Stevie Wonder story, and like it was crazy, man. Like I really like that show. The whole process of it is really cool.
Beautiful. Where can people catch that at?
YouTube. It's YouTube or on Revolt. It's on Revolt show.
Okay.
So you catch it. Drink Champs, if you don't know, it's a pretty cool show, especially if you're into music and seeing hip hop people and R&B people.
Check it out.
Check it out, man. We have one more plug coming, real quick plug before we move on to the March Madness situation. Who we got?
Shout out to, again, RyanBeasley.com for most of your smell good needs. Feel free to use that promo code GHS10, RyanBeasley.com for most of your smell good needs.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the reminder, Reagan. We appreciate you.
Absolutely. So now, what's been going on crazy. March Madness truly living up to its name right now, my man.
Man.
This has been insane. Purdue, of course, losing as a 1 seed. Right, Purdue. Yep. Because that was insane. And was it Furley Dickinson?
What was that?
Furley Dickinson?
Oh, the name of the school.
Yes.
Okay.
Furley Dickinson
I was
beats
like, sir,
Purdue.
we have a child here in the studio.
Yeah, no. It's no. Furley Dickinson. This is insane. That was insane, man.
Yeah, if you didn't know, FDU. Who beat Purdue.
It's insane.
Stands for, one more time?
Furley Dickinson
And,
University.
Yep.
So second time in history, a 16 is beating a 1, right?
Correct. Yeah.
On top of that, brackets are all shot to hell.
It was over before it started.
It was over from the jump.
Yep.
Princeton beating Arizona, and the girls upset North Carolina State on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
Princeton balling right now. Mm-hmm. Then you got one thing that threw me off, Bama, you know, I told you I picked them to win the whole thing. Miller goes 0 for 5, and they still win big. How does that happen? Did he scheme for him? It was a tough game to watch for him.
A little bit of both.
But, you know, 0 for 5 and you still win big, I'm still going to stick with Bama. I like my pick.
Great defensive team.
Very much so. And and for them, if the shot's not falling is when they struggle. But they figured it out and still found a way to get it done. Now, they can't do that next round.
No.
That cannot happen. I don't think him going 0 for 5, you don't win if that happens next round. Most
teams don't if your superstar is going over.
Right.
But so it's going to get tougher, so they got to step up.
So on top of that, then you had Furman beating Virginia.
Yeah.
That was huge. Another bracket destroyer.
If you didn't know, Virginia was the original 1 seed to lose to a 16 seed.
Yes, they were.
And I do owe an apologies to the customer that was inside of Terrapin last night when I was like, it's not like a 1 seed's going to lose to a 16 seed for the second time ever. Whoopsie.
Sorry about that, bud.
My bad, bro.
What can I get for you?
Do you like banana pudding?
Right. I can bring you some of that right now. So now it's just literally insane to see because the bracket, I think it was 90 brackets that was good before the Purdue loss, or out of 20 million, they said, and then it shot them out of here right after that.
Yep.
And now we got some pretty good matchups in this round of 32.
Definitely intriguing for sure.
Let's just run through them real quick. Bama and Maryland. Of course, I'm taking Bama.
Mm-hmm.
San Diego State and Furman.
Yep.
Creighton and Baylor. That should be a good one. Missouri and Princeton. Let's see if they can keep their Cinderella now situation going. Right. Yeah. Then Furley Dickinson and FAU.
FAU. Yes, FAU.
There you go. And then Tennessee and Duke. That should be a good one. I'm going Tennessee in that one. I feel like I'm going Tennessee in that. I've been watching them both play toward the end of the season. Duke is hot right now.
A lot of people picking Duke to make a run.
They're hot. Yeah. They're hot. So it makes sense if they beat them. But I'm taking Tennessee in this one just off of the strength of the SEC has been better than the ACC this year as far as overall top to bottom.
Yeah, I mean, Alabama's leading the pack, so it makes sense.
So I'm going to go with that. But then you got Kansas State and Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan State and Marquette. Now, I like both of those schools overall. You got Shaka Smart versus Tom Izzo. You see Tom Izzo snap the board even though they were winning the other day. They gave him
not even over the knee, just in the air.
He just snapped
like,
it.
He just finished chest day and went, oh.
I love Tom Izzo, my favorite college coach. I'm like legit with that.
Yeah.
But that's going to be a good game. Houston and Auburn should be good.
Mm-hmm.
Miami and Indiana. Xavier and Pitt, that should be a good one.
Man, bunch of stud matchups.
Now, did you happen to catch any of the KSU Xavier game?
I did not because I was getting ready to come into work, and the only thing that I remember seeing was KSU was up by like 14 in the second half.
Man, Mike, did you catch any of that, man? It was crazy. You did? Did you catch any of that KSU game? Man, like you said, they were up 14 at one point. They got up, I think, about 18 at one point. Second half, they went cold for 8 minutes and allowed Xavier to get back in. They went on like a 16-2 run and let them back in it, and they just couldn't recover. They went 8 minutes without a field goal.
Yeah, when the final like 72-68, they lost by 4.
And they stayed at 61 points for most of the second half. I was just sitting there like, come on, somebody score. But it was tough.
Shout out to Kennesaw State.
For the run in general.
Amir Abdul-Rahim?
Yes, that's his. Right. Yeah, Sharif's brother.
Hey, y'all, I'm sorry. I just lied to your face. I did catch the game. My bad.
Why did you lie?
I thought I got in trouble about something. So
no,
not at all.
No, you're never in trouble, man. Never.
Now, I caught the last like 2 minutes and like last 2 minutes of the second half, and you could see the inexperience of KSU and not having a bench, playing a big school like that, they just couldn't hang, man. They got tired. You could tell where them shorts, those shots was coming up shout.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Real
and
shout.
You getting stupid fouls
Yep.
by fouling because
Yep.
you tired and playing sloppy. So
Yep.
you can see it. You can see it happening in front of you. But shout out to KSU.
Shout out to them, man. And hopefully with that roster, they have a lot of Atlanta kids on there. They made a point of saying that Abdul Rahim, when he got there, made a point of keep the talent.
Recruit locally.
Yeah, recruit locally. And you got some ballers out here in the city.
Raheem will be in Colorado with Dion next year, coaching
you
their
think
basketball
so?
team.
You think so? I was finna say that. Hey, throwing that out there in the atmosphere, you never know.
Special thanks to Power Mike and 108.9.
Know that. So that they fought hard, man. They did. But like Mike said, they wore down at the end, and like they went cold, man. When they went cold, it was like you could every time they threw it up, it wasn't confident.
Did you see Penny Hardaway go reverse Ron Artest with the water bottle?
Man, yeah, I don't blame him. I was watching that game. And you see, I didn't realize his son plays when he was a senior. Jaden Hardaway, he looks just like him, yo. He looks just
Same
like
size
him.
and everything?
Yeah, man.
Really?
He looks just like him in the face and everything. He was crazy. But yes, I saw the water bottle chunk, and I don't blame him because he played it perfectly as a coach. They were up. When it came down to it, he had a timeout left. He was able to set up a defense, and these fools let him go straight to the bucket untouched.
Basically, yeah.
And I don't blame him for throwing it. I'd have threw it too. It was ridiculous. I clapped my hands like I was on the sideline with him. Come on, man. What was that?
I just want to see the end of the video for like a unsuspecting fan that's walking out.
Whoever caught it, whoever caught it upside the head, caught it right to the face because he threw that thing. It was a line drive too, straight toward the front row. It was crazy, but I was real upset about that for Memphis and for Penny because I wanted him to pull that off. He needed to get out that first round. To get I like Penny as a head coach, man. I do.
He's been there about 5 years now?
It's about 4 or 5 now. Yeah, and I think that was his whole thing. Like, we here again, losing the first round.
Got to take that next step.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, it was tough. But I think he can get some more recruits. He needs like a Derrick Rose type to get in there. Since, bringing back the Memphis thing, he needs
good callback.
He needs a dog to come in there and be able to just take the reins on that. Just to finish off what we got left, Penn State, Texas, Kansas, Arkansas, St. Mary's and UConn, TCU, Gonzaga, Northwestern, UCLA. A good slate of games. It should be interesting. And I don't think we have any today that give. Oh, yeah, we have some, about 4 or 5 of them today. Should be fun, man.
Gonzaga is my dark horse,
Yes.
my pick. I didn't really do any brackets this year since I'm busy with Terrapins and whatnot. But Digestive Healthcare of Georgia.
Yep.
Did you know of all cancers that affect both women and men, colorectal cancer is the second leading cancer killer in the United States, but it doesn't have to be. Colorectal cancer screening saves lives. Make sure you make your appointment with Digestive Healthcare of Georgia. Shout out to Digestive Healthcare of Georgia, looking out for your colon.
There you go. Looking out for you. Get your screening, guys. Get your screenings. All right, man. Let's transition to baseball.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's almost here. You play baseball too?
Yes.
Reagan, what position do you play?
Like it was the blue cotton candy.
Oh, I love
Perfect.
it. I love it.
The team name is one more time? Blue Cotton Candy.
That's right. Shout out to Blue Cotton Candy out there making it happen. Right now, we're going to transition to the baseball classic.
Yes, WBC.
Yes, sir. DR eliminated.
Yes.
Insane.
They got eliminated by Puerto Rico.
Yes.
And then coincidentally last night, as I was having some difficulties changing the TV channels inside of Terrapin.
All right.
Terrapin Tap Room for most of your beer and barbecue needs.
Absolutely.
Check us out inside the Battery, Terrapin Tap Room. Anyways, the World Baseball Classic, Puerto Rico eliminated Dominican Republic, and then Puerto Rico gets eliminated by Mexico last night in a very epic, like 5-4 game.
Yes.
But it's the Dominican Republic at the end of the day, and half of the Padres are on that team, and I'm not surprised.
And Venezuela with Ronald Acuna, they are undefeated. They are smoking right now, and they have a lot of studs over there from Altuve and some other guys. They're looking dangerous, and he looks healthy.
To that point,
Yes, sir.
on the show last week with Brian Jordan, I looked him in his face, and I said, I got the number 3. I got 3 players on the Braves that should all be in the 30 for 30 club this year, in Ozzie, in Acuna, and in Michael Harris.
Yep.
The way Acuna is currently playing for Venezuela, it is giving me those, long dreads vibes that Acuna had, that he can come out and hit, 13 home runs in the month of April,
Right.
and hopefully hitting leadoff again.
Right.
So if he can somehow just parlay this opportunity from what's going on in the World Baseball Classic, similar to what Mike Trout is doing for USA, and he's carrying that team, and it's good to see him
Trout
in
and
form.
Mookie. Trout and Mookie are the stabilizing and setting the table for sure with that offense.
They put up like 12 in the first inning the other game or something like that. My entire favorite thing of the World Baseball Classic is not only obviously the players that are, or former players that are currently coaching some of the teams, but the lack of caring on behalf of Great Britain for their uniforms.
Yeah.
Somebody had the most epic post of, it's like you opened up a Microsoft Word document in 12-point font in Arial black that said Great Britain, and you're like, that's good enough.
That's fine.
Slap it on the uniform.
Throw them out there. Go play. It looks very
beyond generic.
Yeah, we're talking
my God.
like old, like yank back 60s.
Where did you find these? Oh, they were available at Play It Again Sports.
Man, we just bought them, put some letters on them. But they actually play them pretty well. Great Britain was. They were playing pretty well at one point.
When they played US, it
Right.
kind of surprised me because it was off to a very slow start. I think Great Britain went up 1-0, and then
you got
the final was like 5-1 or something.
Yeah.
But it was like, wait a minute, we should have destroyed them.
We absolutely should have. And that was right before we kind of got into a groove now. After that Mexico loss, and Mexico surprisingly has been balling right now.
They got a good team though,
They do have a good team when you look at the roster.
led by Randy Arozarena. He just got a stat that was flashed on him. The only player in Major League history to hit 20-plus home runs in his first 2 consecutive seasons besides Mike Trout, I believe.
That's legit.
I'm like, all right. And then, surprisingly, they were showing people that have had consecutive 50-plus home run seasons. Hank Aaron's not even on that list. That blew my mind. I was like,
tough.
which it's a interesting fact because of how many home runs he has. Most people look at him as still the all-time home run leader.
Right.
Depending
Depending on
on
who you're talking to.
But for the fact that he was that consistent
Right.
and averaged that many home runs over the course of his career without ever breaking the 50 mark plateau in a single season.
Yeah.
So you just constantly average basically 40 your entire career.
Absolutely. And he's a stud, man. Since he stepped on the scene, he is a stud.
Yeah.
Definitely a stud. And so also transitioning with all the players that we were talking about from the MLB. Spring training, getting close to the end of it,
Yeah, wrapping up.
right? Braves-wise, right? Matt Olson, cranking them right now. He had back-to-back dingers a couple games ago. They had Ozzie yesterday in the DH spot leading off, so I'm assuming he's turning into form. I haven't necessarily looked at the stats up and down the board because people are in and out. Those stats are going to be deceiving. But I'm excited for what I'm seeing. I've seen and noticed the arms that are going back down to the minors, people like Ian Anderson, and like that they're going. I think the time is running short on him at this point. And we got rid of what's the name this past off season. Lefty that was around for a while, supposed to be a stud ace for us at one point, but he's bounced everywhere. What was his name?
Kyle Mueller.
Yeah, him too. We put him took him down to the minors, but we traded this one though. We let him go last year.
Yeah, Mueller was a part of the trade package
That's
for eventually Sean Murphy,
Yes.
but also with shipping out Contreras.
I know who I'm thinking about. Sean Newcomb. That's what I'm thinking about.
Oh, Newcomb.
Yeah, he
Yikes.
was
Yeah.
like people like that. Like he's getting them, like getting toward the end of the road because we had to go ahead and let Newcomb get out of here because it was too much going on with that. But overall, I think the arms will come up big. We really just ready to get back into form, man. Get this thing cranked up.
Yeah, I was looking at the stats, even though it is spring training. You're not playing together as a whole with obviously Acuna being away with Venezuela for the World
Right.
Baseball Classic, but just even statistically, anybody that has like more than 25 at bats, like
Right.
that's a decent sample size.
Absolutely.
Literally everybody on the team is hitting over 300, but not for power though.
Right.
So it's like, all right, I'm hoping you're saving it for the regular
Yeah,
season.
I'm
then.
fine with that.
But if you're slapping and you're hitting for average at the moment, that's a great start.
And and honestly, that's a sign that encourages me because if we're hitting for average now, we know we have the power. We know overall we have the power. So if we're hitting for average, that means that collectively as a team, our overall average as a team might go up this year. So if we're hitting for average with that power, oh
should.
man,
It's
Oh man! Now, division wise,
Mm-hmm.
do we feel like 3 teams with 100 wins?
No.
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 Some people telling me Philly's getting 100.
No.
So 2 teams with 100.
No.
1.
Yep.
Braves only.
Yep.
Mets fall back. Phillies stay around where they're at, about 80 wins.
Yeah, so I don't know if you saw, but the Mets lost Edwin Diaz.
Yeah, so that was tragic, man.
It's unfortunate.
It
but,
was.
yeah.
For the Braves, I mean, I said the same thing. I don't want to see anybody get hurt, but that's a big loss for them and a big plus for us.
The Mets historically have had a problem with staying healthy, so that's why I don't see 100 for them.
Right.
And then for the Phillies, great job. You signed Trey Turner. You kind of solidified that lineup, but you're still the Phillies at the end of the day.
I agree.
You wouldn't have been there last year if you didn't fire your manager, halfway through the season.
They got hot.
Got hot, literally. So, no, I think the Braves are the only one. I'm not going to say the Braves are going to run away with the division,
Right.
but the Braves should be the only one with 100 wins and right back in the playoffs for sure.
Oh, yeah. I definitely.
6 straight
Six
division
straight.
title?
6 straight. I'm with that. There's no reason that it shouldn't, in my mind, that we shouldn't get 100 wins and win the division again. Hopefully this time around, stay in the driver's seat the whole time and not have to worry about a push to try to get it at the end like we did last year.
Yeah.
But, yeah, absolutely. 100 wins, get the division, and whoever's ready, come playoff time, come see us. Come see us when you're ready, and we ready for that push for the second one in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, that is the goal. Now, transition one more time to our last block of the day.
Sure.
NBA, we hit it a little bit at the very beginning talking about the MVP.
Yeah.
But now, like you said, I think you said how many games left? Maybe 15 to 12, 12 to 15, something around that.
At the most.
How you feeling, man? Your Heat, my Hawks. Now, my Hawks last night, big win over Golden State. Although Golden State can't beat anybody on the road. And I was like, they better not come in here and beat us.
Win's a win.
Yeah, and I like it. Held Steph to 30, which these days is doing good.
Yeah, right.
Held him to 30 points, but Trey had 23 and 12, with Steph's 30 and 5.
That final 3 was big, though.
It was, and the steal by Trey on Steph at the end.
What a pickpocket.
It was amazing, right? And then I don't know the whole one finger up when he went to the hole. I'm like, come on, Trey, you ain't got to do that.
Stop.
Like you've been there before, man. That's the only thing. You don't be so cocky, man. But it was a good win, big win. No Draymond. Collins, you know how I feel on him, but he came out with 17 points in the first quarter, 5 points the rest of the game. So if you get 17 in the first quarter and you can have a run like that, I need to see it, man. That's the kind of play. And I'm not saying you got to put up 17 a quarter and nothing like that,
Correct.
but you can give me that kind of effort on a game-to-game basis with the kind of money you're making and for what your role needs to be in this offense. And it worked perfectly to get us a jump, and we got out early because of that 17. But, overall good win, and we needed that for the standings, of course, because everything is tight. But how you feeling about your Heat?
We're hovering, man. Like,
Y'all are 3 games ahead of us at this point.
we're in 6 and you're in 7?
No, y'all are 7, we're 8. Brooklyn's in 6.
Brooklyn's gonna fall out any day, though.
Y'all are a game behind Brooklyn, so
Yeah, they've
Well,
been
game and a half.
falling. We're looking to jump up to 6. Y'all can get 7.
just don't want to be in that play.
Yeah, that play is gonna be tough.
I don't want to do it.
You got best of 3 though. I guess technically in the play-in.
Yeah,
It's fun to watch, but it's brutal if you lose.
it is, and we have problems with Toronto because of their length. That would be somebody we would have to play. Chicago, this is a quick stop by with Chicago. Lonzo Ball, man, 3rd surgery,
It's
out for probably next season too. This is scary now.
Yeah, it's tough.
You're giving
but,
me Brandon Roy vibes right now.
fair comparison, but at the same time, not as established in his career as Brandon
Right.
Roy. Obviously, I would say more so. Like I wasn't really questioning the Dolphins' medical staff, but just the stuff that we've been through with
Right.
Tua and now
Right.
Byron Jones. It's
Right.
like, is it Chicago's
Like
medical staff?
what's happening?
Because similar thing with Derrick Rose and
Yeah.
his knees, and now it's like, did you send him to the wrong surgeon the first time, and the second one couldn't clean it up as much, and now this third one on the same knee
What is happening?
is going to cost him yet another season and potentially his career?
Gonna hear from Papa Ball soon, I'm sure.
I'm surprised that he stayed quiet this long, to
Exactly.
be honest. But with all due respect, it's just tough to see because he obviously wants to be out there, he wants to play. His little brother LaMelo is obviously balling out.
He hurt too. He gets hurt all the time too now.
But is it a family issue? Because
I
at
don't
this
know.
point, like, I feel like we haven't seen Lonzo play in 3 years,
It feels like it.
right?
At least 2. It feels like it.
Best of luck to him. I hope we don't have to hear from their dad. But at the end of the day,
Man, look, he might come with something if it's like you say, the staff in Chicago. That's crazy.
that's a tough look.
It's tough.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens. We're getting to this last push of basketball, so it's going to be interesting. And let's see if we can stay out of this play-in at the same time for both of us.
If the playoffs started today, you guys would be the 7th seed. You said?
Eighth.
Eighth
Y'all are 7th.
We're 7th. That's right. Hypothetical. No, let's not do that.
Right.
Who would you be matching up in the play-in tournament right now?
Right now, I guess it would be Toronto with 17, 8, and 9, right?
Right.
So we were playing Toronto, and they give us problems.
Ugh.
Right.
be
So it would be tough. And other than that, y'all would be playing Chicago.
I'm obviously good with the Chicago matchup,
Yeah.
but I do believe that Brooklyn is going to fall out, which let us slide into the 6.
Right.
And then the top 5 is
Milwaukee, Boston, Philly, Cleveland, and Knicks.
Knicks. Look like they're hanging around, right?
They're going to hang around, but they'll get Cleveland in the first round the way it's holding out right now, and I don't think that's...
Oh, they'll probably get swept.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. So they get put out in the first round just like they did when we played them a couple years ago. So, well, guys, we're getting towards the end here. We got one more plug before we say goodbye for a little while.
Speaking of custom tumblers, My Karma Creations specializes in handmade custom tumblers. That's custom with a K. Small orders, large orders, business or personal usage. Female-owned company. Give your beverages their own personality with a unique design. That cup that Gary's holding up, showing our little cartoon pictures for the Gary and Harry show. Several sizes are available. Shipping is available. The gift you can't walk into any store and find. MyKarmaCreations.com. Special promo code for you, GHShow15. GHShow15 for the Gary and Harry show. 15% off for MyKarmaCreations.com for all your custom tumblers.
With a K. All right, man.
Thank you to RyanBeasley.com for most of your smell good needs for being in the building. Welcome back with our EP with her mini me, Reagan. Good to see you here
Absolutely.
in the studio. Power Mike and the M. Alex Broadcasting Company. Power 108.9. We appreciate you for show number 10. Take us out, brother.
All right, my brother. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. Episode 10 for the win. We'll be back in a couple weeks. See y'all next time. Peace out.
Y'all be safe.